welcome to Mind Your Business, the channel where we are in everybody's business. If you don't mind getting in people's business, you're on the right channel. Talking about current topics and gossip. Well, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta is back, people, and they were in my city, yes, London town. They came to London City basically to come and support Spice because she was on her tour during the Unruly Fest. But of course, you know, with Love and Hip Hop, there's always drama. I'm like, please do not bring your madness to my city. Let's talk about it, people. Well, I'm going to talk, my inclusive crew. Let's talk about Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. So, yes, it was back and it made me laugh because actually, you know, last season it was very hectic. So it was quite good to see that there was some peace among the group. So the cast were in London to support Spice. So it's courtesy of Spice. So I was like, well, Spice is doing some good things for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta because I don't think the cast would be here if it weren't for her, really, because she was over here for her festival. So I thought that was a good look for them. And they came at the right time of year because London's usually very wet and cold. So it looked like they came during the summertime. And I think I actually planned to go to that event, but I missed it. Had something else going on. But anyway, so we saw like Bam and Carly. They hashed it out. You know, they've kind of apologised to each other, but they had more discussion when they were in London. So that was good. I was like, okay, they're on good vibes. That is a good thing. We saw Sierra have a very, what I'd call, ghetto wedding. I know she's got Ghetto Girl Eats, but I was like, wow, this is giving a bit ghetto because honestly, whenever I've seen Sierra, she's always like Miss Glam and going back glam, and when she's been engaged before, she's always like, you know, being very extra. So I was very surprised to see this wedding because I was like, hold on, she's not in London. And they, you know, show her and I'm like, she's getting married. I know she said she was getting married, but I was thinking, was it the courthouse? You know, her dude, we don't know much about him. But the vibe I get is like, you know, he's like recently released. You know, that's a vibe that I get. He might not be, so, you know, no shade. But the fact that he was there in a t-shirt, I said, no, what is going on? She's there in a black jumpsuit. I'm like, what in the ghetto is going on over here? Because this wedding, yeah, it's very ghetto fabulous, I'd say. But anyway, congratulations to her. She's now married. So we saw that. And we saw that she's still, you know, on the outs with some of her family. She ain't chatting to her mum and her sister still. They're still beefing because that's been all over social media. So her wedding was very small. Literally her daughter and like her dad and some of her friends and stuff. But yeah, it was much smaller than I would have thought. The wedding was completely different to what I would have thought it would have been for Sierra. Joc and Kendra, now that had me cracking up because after all the madness that Joc has done throughout his life, he's now upset and jealous because there's an NFL player that Kendra knows from a long time ago that is in her DMs and trying to flirt with her and say she's beautiful. Kendra has said to him straight up that, you know, he's flirting with her, but she ain't leading him on. You know, she's trustworthy. She ain't trying to do nothing, but she's trying to sell her house. But she's trying to make money with the man. But Joc is not having it. I'm like, Joc, you've got a damn cheek. The audacity of you, who has had, you know, babies on the break. You've had all kinds of foolishness going on with you. And this woman isn't doing anything from what we know. So what's your problem? So I feel like the way he went off at her, I was like, no, your attitude is wrong. We all know Kendra is ridiculous. She flies up to handle way, way too much as far as I'm concerned. But in this situation, I'm like, no, he's taking a piss. And when he said, you know, let me break it down to you or whatever, and then she took it as, you can't break me down. I was just like, okay, this is all going left. And then when he's turning around telling her F you and he wants divorce and all this crap, I'm like, get it together, Joc. Get it together. Talk about throwing your toys out of the pram. Like, seriously. Pull up your pants, boy. Like, sort it out. Anyway, let's get to Scrappy and Khaotic because obviously this was a whole situation between those two because the trip was quite pleasant. The girls were getting along quite fine. But obviously, there's still tension between Scrappy and Khaotic. And if you've been following that story on socials, you might have seen that Khaotic did go to social media and talk about it and talk about the fact that Scrappy was not talking to him and was going on away with him because he took Scrappy off of the YouTube. They started off together, but Scrappy wasn't pulling his weight, is what Khaotic said. He said he's not got a good, you know, work ethic, like he's not down for grinding. And Scrappy himself said that he's not a YouTuber and he didn't want to go out and do the interviews that Khaotic was obviously trying to do. So if that's the case, then you go your way and lead the man to his own devices. So I feel like Khaotic, to me, is a decent character. Like, I like the fact that he's quite light-hearted. Like, I like that he brings the laughter to the show. And I felt like him and Scrappy were good together. Like, I felt like they were good, like, you know, as in they were boys. So it's very sad to see how it panned out. And you can see from, even if you go and check out Khaotic's own videos on this whole subject, you can see that the man was very hurt about it. He took it very offensively, some of the stuff that he was saying, but at the same time, he was never ever disrespectful about Scrappy. He was just saying, yeah, I don't think he's got the grind, but other than that, he didn't diss him, he didn't talk his business, he didn't know that sort of shit that he could have done. Whereas I felt like Scrappy took it to different levels, because on the live that Scrappy done a few months ago, he was just saying some shit that to me just wasn't warranted. So I felt a bit bad for Khaotic in that situation. So on the ending scene, you know, you've got Big Tobes, who's a UK artist, so he performs for them. And we see Amy chat to Scrappy, because we find out that Scrappy has blocked her and unfollowed her. So clearly their little date didn't go anywhere. So she asks him about that, like, how come you've blocked me? Like, well, what's happening? And he was just saying that, well, because you and Bam was basically in a mix-up, he didn't want no parts of it. So they were cool. And clearly we know that it didn't work, because we see that Amy is currently all over the blogs at the moment because she's dating Royce Reed's ex. I cannot remember his name. I know he's big out there in America. But yeah, and isn't he rumoured to be gay? Something like that. So there's a lot of speculation around that, but she's sticking with him. And I've seen Royce put out all her stories about that. But that's another story, and that's a by the by. Now, during the dinner scene now, when they're having the drinks from the table, I was thinking, okay, this is all good. We've got Amy and Bam, you know, Bam apologises and Amy kind of apologises. So that she wants to apologise. I didn't really hear the words come out of her mouth properly. But anyway, we see Amy and Bam B squash their beef that they've been having, which was good to see. So I was like, all right, good. The girls are doing well. So, of course, on that note, everyone's like, all right, come on now, Scrappy and Khaotic, can you guys sort this out? Like, and Scrappy, to me, is so immature. For him to turn around and be like, yeah, let me start off by saying, yeah, I'm sorry. Everyone's getting excited. And he's like, not. I'm like, who does this? How old are you? Like, fix up your backside. Like, what is this nonsense? And then he starts getting ignorant as soon as Khaotic goes to say something like, you know what your problem is? And that was his trigger. He's flying up out of the chair, being very, very extra, like he wants to attack him. They're obviously throwing words back and forth at each other. And then Scrappy gets very sassy and decides to dash a drink at him. I was like, oh, very sassy move, dash and drink, isn't it? I've seen a lot of women do that. I don't really see men do that very often. But anyway, I just thought it was a bunch of nonsense. And now thinking back to what Khaotic was saying, I went to recap one of Khaotic's videos. And it was interesting because I thought, yeah, he is kind of right. Because he was saying that, you know, this whole YouTube situation, Scrappy's the one who brought it to Love and Hip Hop. He wanted to have it as a storyline. So Khaotic looked at it as, you know, they got a proper friendship, so, you know, they can talk to each other. But clearly Scrappy didn't want to talk, and he wanted to wait for it to happen on Love and Hip Hop. So he feels like he was just waiting to use this as a storyline, which is why he tried to attack him and, you know, trying to create more storyline around himself, which is possible because at the end of the day, I do feel like Khaotic has got a good work ethic because you see him grinding out here in his YouTube streets. He's been putting his work in. I've seen him, you know, chatting to different baddies and different Love and Hip Hop stars. Like, he's been getting his grind on YouTube, so good for him. So you know that he's got other avenues. He also spoke about how he was the one who actually managed to get a lot of the bookings that him and Scrappy were going to do. So while Scrappy is sitting there chatting about he don't need Love and Hip Hop for a bag, it's given that you do, because we don't really see much of you outside of it. Like, what is going on with Scrappy outside of it? During the time that Scrappy's been on Love and Hip Hop, I haven't really seen him put out any music. Maybe that's because I'm over here in London and maybe I missed something. Anyone from the US, you can tell me if I'm wrong. But I don't feel like he's out here like trying to create anything. I don't know what's going on with him. But I feel like in terms of work ethic, you can see the difference between the two of them. So I do feel like there's some jealousy there. I would like for them to actually just be able to squash it and move forward. But I feel like Scrappy is the main problem here. And he needs to do some reflection on himself, because this is no way to behave. It's just ridiculous behaviour. But yeah, I feel like he just sounds a bit jealous to me. And because Khaotic is still doing his thing and it's doing well, he's like, yeah, just give me my money kind of thing. Like, his video is the one that put him there. But I think it might have helped initially, but Khaotic's the one who put in all the work, then it is what it is. But anyway, other than that, the season is looking good because the previews for what's coming up, it looks like there's a lot going on. And the comment by Zell's baby mother about Shay trying to compete with no beard with a booty cracked me up. I was like, not beard and booty, child. I know exactly who you're talking about. So that cracked me up. But I'll be looking forward to seeing what happens over the season, and I will be staying tuned. Now, of course, I went to check out social media to see what people were saying on there. Here are some tweets that have me cracking up. Okay, so you've seen those and you've heard what I have to say. Now, what are you saying about the show? Let me know your thoughts below. Yes, so thanks for watching that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and hit that notification bell so you know when I am uploading some more of people's business. So until then, my nosy people, stay blessed.